Hi everyone, welcome to the third Christmas Decorate With Me video for 2024. So grab something cozy and join me as I decorate a vintage style Christmas in our living room. We are jumping right into things since we have a lot to decorate. It's garland time, and I love this natural feeling one from Kirkland's. I purchased 5 of these garlands because I wanted them to drop as close to the ground as possible. I love long garlands, and this ended up being the perfect length for my main living room window. I'm also going to be doing something else and adding some vintage flair to these later on, so hang tight for that. I'm styling my Anthropologie cabinet with some fun vintage pieces that always make me so happy each year when we get reacquainted. I like to use some tulle from the Dollar Tree to add some dimension to the shelves before I start styling them. This year, I was very intentional with the theme and only used items that were either vintage, handed down, or newer, but made to look like they were from another time period. Joanna Parker and Bethany Lowe are always go-to artists for me during the holidays because they make such fun and unique traditional style pieces. I just started my Department 56 Village collection, and I scope out any Victorian style houses. Shocker. But I'm especially fond of my little collection so far because they are based on real houses in San Francisco. I also bought a San Francisco cable car to really give a nod to the city, and I have one more that might be considered out of place, but it's Ralphie's house from A Christmas Story, and that movie just screams nostalgia for me, and it will always remind me of my dad, so it's always going to have a cherished spot in my collection. Now we're styling the matching media console, and apologies, but I forgot to hit record when I styled the first shelf with the Peanuts nativity scene, so that's why that shelf is magically put together. I tried to keep colors and themes consistent on each shelf with Mr. Christmas nostalgic decor, vintage books, and other vintage style pieces. Now I'm adding some holiday-themed wall art decor, the first being a Thomas Kincaid Victorian Christmas scene, which was my grandmother's, and these are my favorite estate sale finds. They're antique brass mirrored candle wall sconces, and I'll be talking about these again in an upcoming vintage home decor haul, but oh my god, these were such a steal, and they were $5 each. Can you believe that? They're heavy, high-quality pieces that absolutely elevate this entire corner. After some quick refluffing in some areas, I strung on an additional 400 iridescent multicolored lights for an added nostalgic effect. I'm never satisfied with the amount of lights on pre-lit trees, so I always string on some extra each year. I also added on these Kurt Adler flickering candle string lights, which have little clips on each one. I love the flickering effect these candle lights give, and it absolutely makes the tree look more vintage. My vintage Christmas theme this year is a blend between a moody Victorian Christmas with a dash of 1950s Christmas retro vibes. These flickering candles lean on the traditional Victorian look, while the ornaments I've selected bring out the vintage mid-century Christmas style. And just look at this vintage quilted tree skirt that I found in an estate sale. You can tell that it's handmade, and it absolutely makes the look of my Christmas tree this year. Since I already have a traditional Victorian themed Christmas tree in my bedroom, which you saw in the first 2024 Christmas Decorate With Me video, make sure to check that one out if you already haven't, I decided to use more retro 1950s style ornaments for the main tree in the living room. I used some vintage glass ball ornaments, Mr. Christmas little vintage style books, handmade pieces that I've picked up at local craft fairs over the years, and just so many more. Basically, if the ornament looked like it came from the 50s, it's going on this tree. I like to start off by putting the larger ornaments on the bottom of the tree and then just start filling the tree from there. The key to not making your tree look cluttered is to make sure that your ornaments are not touching. And if you have matching ornaments or duplicates of some, make sure you space them out on the tree so nothing looks bunched together. This is an actual vintage star tree topper from the 60s that I picked up at my very first estate sale. Can you believe that? This star has adorned so many of my trees over the years, and it's helped me create such special Christmas memories. So I get a ping of excitement every time I pull this one out of the box. To me, the tree is the most difficult part in decorating your interiors for the holidays. That's because it takes center stage in any room and captures the spirit of that year's holiday. I've noticed that when I alternate between decorating the tree and styling other parts of the room, I tend to be more intentional with how I end up styling my tree because I'm not rushing through it just to get done with it. I love savoring this part of my decorating each year, so I make sure to take good breaks in between and keep coming back to the tree until it's perfect. I also like to add ornaments on this tree that hold special meaning, like my Jim Shore dachshund, because I had a lovely dachshund growing up named Heidi, ornaments from different trips that Miles and I have taken through the years, ornaments that my grandma has given me from her past Christmas tree themes, and some childhood favorite ornaments that have adorned my trees for as long as I can remember. And of course I love corgi ornaments because they obviously remind me of my Penny. The thing is, for your tree, just make it unique and special to you. Whatever reminds you of other Christmases that have been special to you and have given you so many great memories, fill your home and surround yourself with that so that you can not only establish new memories, but revel in past ones. Now it's tree garland time. I like to keep my garland simple on this tree since the ornaments truly speak for themselves. I'm using strands of red wood beads that really offer that traditional look. The burgundy red matches the color of the ribbons that I'm going to be tying on things around the home in a little bit here, but I'm also using a few strands of vintage style Kurt Adler string garland. These retro beads really sparkle nicely against the iridescent multicolored lights. I love creating my own floral arrangements for each holiday. In this vintage style anthropology vase that I picked up a few years ago, I opted for vintage style tall berries and a mix between dusty rose and traditional red poinsettias, and some greenery to, of course, bring the feel of the outdoors in. And we can't forget about the mistletoe. I'm tying some red ribbon around this faux bunch to make it feel a little more festive. This is my little faux fireplace that I've created with a vintage shelf that sits on top of the radiator that we never use. I wanted to bring more of the traditional Christmas look to this corner to match the wall art and the floral arrangement that we just created. And don't be surprised when you see me adding red velvet bows to things here and there. Ribbons are such a great way to add a vintage Christmas touch to anything that's not necessarily Christmas decor. I wanted to make the garland along the main window have more of a traditional look while also bringing in some more color. So I opted to add in some dried orange slices. I used small green hooks and clipped them in each slice, and then I added them throughout the garland and made sure that the hooks were behind different branches so you actually couldn't see them. I wanted it to appear like the oranges were almost floating on the garland itself. I think that this really gives the garland a more traditional Victorian Christmas look, and I just love how it pairs with my overall vintage Christmas theme. to bring more of the outdoors inside, I wanted to drape some more natural looking greenery on top of pictures and a couple doorways. I found these beautiful 6-foot soft cedar branches from Michael's. They look so real, and I absolutely love how they drape and cascade. They were by far the best greenery garlands that I saw there, and everyone else seemed to take notice because there were only 5 left when I found them, and I purchased all of them. I also decided to add some tinsel to the tree this year to really give off that retro Christmas look. I tried to find some tinsel that was a bit thicker and more like traditional vintage old tinsel from back in the day. I liked this kind that I found from Amazon, which I've linked below. They're pretty long, extra shiny, and absolutely give off the dramatic effect I was looking for. The key with putting tinsel on the tree is to do it strand by strand. And as tedious as that is, it's really worth it in the end. You're probably seeing why I like to do my tree in stages now, like I was saying earlier, because when you take time with your tree, it really shows. I barely used even a third of the tinsel that came in the package here, so a little goes a long way. It doesn't take as much time as you think, because if you think about other things like your Christmas lists or other decorating plans, the time flies by. As I'm hanging up the last of my Victorian Christmas-themed artwork, grab that cozy drink and snuggle up with a soft blanket as we enjoy the final reveal together. Thank you so much for joining me as I transformed our living room into a vintage Christmas wonderland. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you did, and hit subscribe for more upcoming holiday decor adventures. Until next time, my friends, you stay lovely and stay festive. Happy decorating and happy holidays.